Hello, Feral friends. Welcome back to Feral. I'm your host, Savana Montana, and today we're talking about how the relationship gap might be destroying your relationships. I know that's a bold thing to say, but I see that it's a topic of conversation lately, and this is not to say that your friends are shitty, and this is not an episode to shit on all of your friends, but the fact of the matter is your friends actually influence your relationship more than your partner does. So if you've ever said something like, I was happy until I opened my group chat, then this is probably the episode for you. So let's decide if your friends are elevating your standards or destroying them. Taking advice from single friends versus married friends. Yes, I'm going to pop open that can of worms because it's something I've been dying to talk about actually, and figure out who's actually running your relationship. Because if it's anybody besides you and your partner, we've got problems. Let's tear into it. Of course, we're gonna start the episode with a game. So we're gonna play friend or foe. I'm basically just gonna decide if it's a green flag or a red flag, okay? Let's get into it. Let me tell you who the fuck I think I am. You got a minute? Wow. If your friend hates your boyfriend after one story, red flag. You guys don't, neither one of you guys know him well enough at this point. I mean, I don't know how long he's been your boyfriend for, but after one story, people are not perfect. Nobody's perfect. You're not perfect. He's not perfect. We don't live in that world. So that's going to be a red flag. Let him fuck up a couple times. Unless it's like a major problem, then, you know, we don't even need to have that conversation. But yeah, one conversation, one story, no, it's a red flag. If your partner knows every detail from your group chat, red flag. And that's your responsibility. You have to protect the group chat, okay? Girls, if we're in group chats, that's for the girls. The chat is for the girls. It's not for the partners too. Now, I'll go on the flip side and say, if you're married and you're in group chats, marriage group chats, I feel are different. I'm not saying go and air all your shit to your fiance or your husband or your spouse or whatever on either side. But ultimately, I'd say protect the group chat, depending on what the topic is. But no, nobody on either side should know every detail in the group chat. No, we're not sharing that information. That's for us, okay? Back off. That's a red flag. Your partner should not know every detail of your group chat. No. The friend who says, I support whatever decision you make or whatever makes you happy, that's a green flag. That's how most friends, I would like to think, should support you. They're not there to control your decisions or sway you in one way. They can give their honest opinion or give you advice that you're asking for, but they should ultimately want you to be happy. So I think that that's a green flag, yeah. If a friend wants you to stay single because she's single, that's a red flag. I mean, I think the goal for most people is to find their someone. So you can't just stay single because your friend's staying single or they want you to. I think that's a red flag for sure. And also if you're a friend who wants your friend to stay single because it's convenient for you, you're being a shitty friend. We can't do that. That's not cool. You have to support the decisions they make and the people that are coming in, because think about it in this way. If they end up with that person and you're not supportive of the relationship, they're probably going to cut your friendship, and you don't want that. Right? So red flag. A partner who complains about your friends. This is a hard one because why are they complaining? Like if your partner's complaining about your friends because you spend so much time with them, or you just, I don't know why somebody would complain. I think it's a red flag for your partner to complain about your friends because take it from me. Let me be honest. I've been in every single relationship where someone has tried to control my surroundings and isolate me, and those relationships never work out. So don't be in that kind of relationship if they're just trying to get you away from people. But also if your partner's complaining about your friends because they treat you poorly or they're not supportive of your relationship, or they're causing problems or drama or whatever, then I can see why they would complain. But ultimately, your partner should like your friends and your friends should like your partner. So I'm going to go with red flag. Married friend giving advice. Okay. If you're in a relationship to get married or you're dating for marriage, it's probably okay that you're taking your friend's marriage advice because you're going in that direction. So I'm going to go with green flag on that. We're going to dive deeper into that, but green flag. Single friend advice. I don't know what kind of advice you're taking from your friends that are single if you're in a relationship or trying to be in a relationship necessarily. But if their advice is to point you in the right direction and they're saying, hey, I don't think this guy is right for you or whatever, I think that's great. If they're trying to give you advice to continue staying single, maybe don't listen and focus on the relationship more. So it really depends on what era you're in to take advice from either one. So I'll go green flag for both. Comparing your relationship to your best friend's relationship. Red flag. You guys know how I feel about the art of comparison. It's a green-eyed, ugly monster. Don't do it. Don't fall for it. It's a trap. You shouldn't be comparing your relationship with anybody else's, okay? That's an unfair assessment and it's a disadvantage at your partner because no person is exactly the same. So I just think it's a red flag. Asking your friends about a problem before asking your partner about a problem. If the problem, which I'm assuming is about the partner, you should speak to your partner first. You shouldn't go to your friends first. I would say communication is key in every single relationship you'll ever have in your life, whether it's with your friends, your family, a business partner, boyfriend, it doesn't matter what it is. Attack the problem head on with the person you're in the problem with. Don't outsource first. Outsource second if it becomes a repetitive problem maybe. So I'm going to go with red flag. Letting your group chat vote on your relationship. I'm going to go with red flag, honestly, because I just don't think that's healthy unless there's like so much going on that everybody's like, oh my gosh, yeah, throw in the towel. This guy's a dud, whatever. But in the beginning, no, I think that's not cool. And you probably aren't going to get the answer that you want anyways. So you gotta give it time. I'm going to go with red flag. All right. So let's talk about it. Who's really running your relationship? Have we gotten to a point in society or with our friendships that we actually trust and rely on our friends more than our actual partners? Probably. It sounds like it because it's a pretty hot topic right now. So if that's the case, I don't know. Like it can be a good thing and it can be a bad thing. It's a good thing because you're like, dude, I've got my ride or dies. I got my homies. I'm going to be okay because I know they have my back and they have my best interest at heart. And that's the most important thing. And honestly, if you have one person that's like that, or you have 5 people that are like that, you're already winning in life. Now, I would like for one of those people to probably be the person you're going to spend the rest of your life with, or your Mr. Right Now, whatever that looks like for you. But ultimately, your partner should be the person that you trust the most, more than anybody in the world. You know, they're going to keep your secrets. They're going to know everything about you. That's your person. That's literally what you're signing up for, is for that to be your person. So I think we have to learn how to separate our friendships with our intimate partnerships, because if there's no line there, you're ultimately going to cause more harm than good to your partner. So what I'm gathering is that we are in the rise of friendfluence. I don't know if that's a thing. I don't know if I'm making that up, but it kind of sounds like what's going on here. But I also don't know why we are crowdsourcing our relationships to other people. Like that never seems like a good idea. You know why? And I'll give it to you straight. Because there's 2 people in that relationship. There's not 5 people in it. There's not a couple friends and then you 2. It's just the 2 of you. So if we are outsourcing and we're crowdsourcing to make decisions on our interpersonal relationship with our intimate significant other, it seems like there's 1,000 red flags going off because everybody's got a different opinion and it's going to start causing problems. And if you've got serious problems in your relationship, then you should probably see a professional, right? Because our group chat, as much as we'd love to say so, and as accurate as sometimes our group chats can be, it's not official relationship counseling, okay? And it shouldn't be. It should be to a point where, of course, your friends have your back and they want to give you the best unsolicited advice ever, and they want you to be happy and find the best relationship and all of those things. But sometimes you got to keep shit personal. You got to keep it private between you and your person and just work through the issues together, because ultimately that's the person you're going to be working your issues with for a very long time, if that's your goal. And granted, I think a lot of times as friends who are giving the advice or pointing you in a certain direction or giving you their opinion, it's because they're only hearing one side of the story and they're hearing your side of the story. Your partner could have something completely different to say or feel some sort of way, or you'll never know both sides of a situation when you're giving your friend advice on a relationship, because you're only going to hear your friend's point of view, right? So it's kind of unfair to the other person. Even if you support that relationship or if you don't support it, you're already biased one way or the other, but you'll never know both sides. So it's kind of hard to give great advice when maybe you don't know the whole story. And I'm shaving over the part where some of these situations are so bad that you're like, dude, why are you even dating this guy? You know what I mean? I'm giving these good, normal confrontation kind of situations in relationships a free pass right now. For instance, have you ever been in a relationship where you're totally fine or you're content or you're happy or everything's just smooth sailing, and then you hear the opinion of one of your friends or some of your friends, and then you totally self-sabotage or sabotage your relationship, and then you start to overthink everything, and you're like, well, what about this and what about that, and maybe she's right, or he did do that and this is what happened, and you know, like you really go down the rabbit hole, but everything was fine until you heard somebody else's opinion. So if you were actually fine and you were actually happy and you were good with the way your relationship was going, and then you let an outside voice come in and change your thought process or your opinion in a negative way, and then you blew everything up, how healthy can that be? You're essentially siding with the opinion of a friend over, hey, I'm actually happy with this person and I actually like this person, and maybe that's not that big of a deal, or maybe I shouldn't overvalue that opinion. Because at the end of the day, it's just an opinion. Your happiness is what matters with your partner. And listen, I think it's natural for us to want to outsource and want to reach out to our friends right after a disagreement because we're mad at that person, right? We're like, I'm sick of your shit and I got nothing to say to you and I'm irritated and I'm annoyed and I just want to tell on you because I need validation and I want to feel better about this situation. Cool. That's normal. By the way, it's normal on both sides. Guys do that shit too. And I don't care if they tell you that they're not doing that, they're doing that. Okay. So just as much as us females will do that with our friends, they will do it too. Normal human behavior. Wrap your head around it now. It'll make the rest of your life much easier. However, I think it's also smart, and it's a level of understanding and respect and maturity, especially in a long-term relationship, that you allow yourself time to dissect and go into whatever your disagreement with your person is, because you don't want to tell on them too fast. Like, you might start to really make your significant other look like an asshole if you're like, every time something happens, I go straight to my friends and they know all my dirty laundry. And then eventually your friends might just not like your boyfriend anymore because they're like, dude, why do you even deal with this? It's like, seems like it's always a problem. There's always something this, da 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 da. When a lot of times these are sand-sized problems and we make them massive because we're just pissy that day. But ultimately, we should be talking to our partners about these kinds of issues because that's how you resolve them. And unresolved issues cause resentment in a relationship. So know when to count on your friends and rely on your friends and disclose things to them, and then know the difference of when not to. Don't go to your friends for every little thing that bugs you. Go to them for every once in a while things that seem catastrophic or big and be like, hey, listen, I need your advice on this. Like, this is what happened and this is how I feel and da 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 da. Because your friends might be like, dude, it's not that big of a deal. Happens with me and my guy all the time. Just say what you mean and mean what you say. You guys will get through it. Talk to him about it. Or they'll be like, yo, that's a green elephant sized problem in this room. You should probably break up with him or reevaluate the relationship. You never know what the advice is going to be, but know when to ask for it is what I'm saying. And also, when you're getting advice from friends, make sure to ask yourself, are my friends giving me this advice because it's the best advice for me? Or are they giving me this advice because they're basing it off their own personal experiences or their own personal traumas or their own past relationships that they've had when a guy did this and then it led to X, Y, and Z? Just because he did one thing that was similar to another guy doesn't mean he's a total scumbag piece of shit. You know what I mean? But they might go back into their trauma and then give you that kind of advice. And they might not even know that they're doing it. You know, but it's super important to know the difference and be aware of the difference and take that into consideration when you are communicating with your friends. And like I said, your friends have your back. They want what's best for you. Even if they do go that route, they might not even know that they're doing it. Because sometimes as girlfriends, we have the tendency to hold a magnifying glass over a pebble-sized problem. And we just illuminate it when it's really not that big of a deal. And it could be because it's something that happened to us, or it's something that we've seen in the past, or it could be something that we saw on TV or in a movie. You know what I mean? We're like, oh my God, red flag, just out that guy. Sucker, bye, see ya, fucking never. You know, but it's because your friends want what's best for you. It's because they do support you and they do have your back. But You have to know the difference. And you have to be strong enough and smart enough to say, hey, this is really not that big of a deal. Maybe it's a big deal for you in your relationship, but for me and my relationship, I can live with this. This doesn't need to be DEFCON 5. You feel me? Like single friends versus married friends. Who are you taking advice from? At the end of the day, I think that you should be taking advice from a friend or a couple whose relationship you would actually want. If you appreciate their relationship, how they speak, how they communicate, what they look like, what they're, don't compare your relationship to theirs, but are you taking advice from couples or friends who actually live the way you want to be living and actually possess the relationship that you would actually like to possess for yourself? Because if it's not, then why are you taking their advice anyways? You're like, I wouldn't even want that relationship, or I wouldn't want to deal with this, or that's not even where I'm going. Then maybe don't overvalue their opinion or their advice because it's not even what you want. Put it this way. Your single friends often value their freedom, and your married friends often value compromise. Both of these things are great, by the way, but neither side is right. For me, I think you have to have enough self-awareness inside of your relationship and as an individual to have both. I think this is just me, by the way, you guys. I think having a strong sense of independence and knowing who you are and what you're about is so important because that's what attracted you to your person in the first place. So always keep that. Don't let somebody just become a couple. Like, oh, this is what we do. Like, I know a lot of people like this, okay? And maybe I'm going off, so I'm sorry. But people get wrapped up in their relationships and they become like a unit, or one person outshines the other person and then it's just a we thing. I don't think that's cool. I think that be an individual and be independent in whatever it is that is your shtick, at whatever is your thing, your career, your goals, your life, your family, whatever you are as a person. But also know, hey, I am a unit with this other person and I have respect for them and we are in this together, and I make compromises for the things that I like and I want and whatever it is that I have going on for me, because I want that person to also be happy and be the best version of themselves. Because if you're the best version of yourself and they're the best version of themselves, then as a team, you're going to thrive and skyrocket. So I don't think going too far left and going too far right makes either party right. I think it's finding a balance between you and your person to make both of those things true and make them work in the capacity that is best for your relationship. If that makes sense at all. I might have really confused you guys, and I hope that I didn't. But it's important to have both, because I find that there is a huge danger in taking life advice from someone whose life you don't want. Why would you overvalue a relationship because maybe it looks good on paper and maybe they have it all figured out or it looks great for them, but if it's not going to make you happy in your relationship, why are you busting your ass trying to want it? You don't want it. You don't want it. Stop trying to convince yourself that you do, and don't feel like less of a person because you don't want what they have. You can still be friends with them. You can still love them and adore them and be like, your relationship is amazing, but I want my relationship to look like this. And then find a person that also wants the same things, or hang out with friends who have the same values as you that are like, yeah, I found my person and this is what we like to do. Oh, we like to do this too. Oh, cool. Let's hang out. Well, how did you find this? Or how did this work out? Or where did you guys meet? Like, there's so many things that you can focus on to attract that kind of relationship to you. But ultimately, I don't think that you should take advice, big advice, from a relationship that you don't truly admire. And it's not that they can't give you good advice, because you can ask for very specific things and they're like, hey, this is what I did, or this is what worked out for me, and this is how I view things. And you can hand pick the advice that you take. Most people, FYI, and we all know this, don't even take your advice. They don't. When's the last time you took somebody's advice just freely? That they just threw it out there like, hey, you know what? I think, that's really, you're like, nah. If you're anything like me, you're like, great advice. But you see that dark path that's like covered in cobwebs and scary trees and there's bats flying and it looks like hell. I'm going to go that way. I'm going to figure it out for myself. And then you get to the end of it and you're like, dude, that was the worst thing I could ever do. I should have taken your advice. Yeah, well, that's me. And I think that honestly, that's most people. So take all the advice that you give and all the advice that you get with a grain of salt, because the chances of us taking it anyways are so motherfucking slim. let's go with the chaotic friend, right? We all have a chaotic friend that's just like overanalyzes every single thing about a relationship or their relationship or a guy that they're dating or whatever. And for whatever reason, we tend to listen to what they have to say because they have repetitive shit date, screwed up person, drama fest, dating app, what like the situations that they get themselves into, it's just constant chaos. Cool. We know that this person attracts exactly what they live, right? I hope we know that by now. But for whatever reason, we take their advice and then we apply it to our own dating in, experiences, if you will, which is so dumb because we're watching them fail. And it's not that they're a shitty person. They're not failing at dating because they suck. It's just that's what they attract into their life. So if you're copying and pasting in the advice that they give you or their opinions on a relationship or somebody that you're dating, then chances are you're going to start doing the same thing as them, which is try again, fail, date again, another date, first date, second date, and that like you don't want to get into that loop. Sometimes that's what works for chaotic people, but we don't need to take the chaotic person's advice if that is not the kind of dating experience that we want. And also, I think it's super fair to say that a lot of times we find that our single friends may sometimes encourage us to break up faster. And again, I think this goes back to they don't even know or realize that they're doing it, but maybe you're super close with your friends. Maybe you hang out with each other all the time. And then when you start dating someone or you get serious in a partnership with someone, you spend more of your time with them. I would go 98% of the time that's exactly what happens because you're in the honeymoon phase and you're like obsessed and in love and like, oh my God, everything's so great. So you hang out with your friends less because you want to hang out with him more, right? But then if any little split things goes wrong and then you start to dive into your friends and go, oh my gosh, this happened or that happened or I don't like this or I saw this or, like whatever, then they're more inclined to, just break up with him. And then we can go out this weekend. You can find somebody new and da-da-da-da-da. Like we've all been there. We've all done that. Come on now. But you have to remember that your friends are single and maybe they're in a phase of their life that they want to stay single. So if you want to be in a relationship and meet somebody and get serious, then maybe don't listen to every little piece of advice they give you because secretly deep down, they love you so much. They want to spend all their time with you. So they want you to come party with them and be single again. There's nothing wrong with it. There's only something wrong with it if you do want to be in a relationship and you allow that outside influence to depict whether you're going to continue dating someone or cut it off. On the flip side of that, you have your married friends, right? And sometimes our married friends might encourage us to tolerate more or too much because that's the type of relationship they're in. That's the type of marriage that they're in, where it's just like, oh, you can't be so cynical. You can't be so this. You can't like, well, that's not that big of a deal. And da, 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 but maybe it is a big deal to you. So also on the flip side, don't stay in a relationship that's mundane or that doesn't make you happy or that is constantly causing issues in your life just because you're like, oh, I don't want to go back into the dating pool. And I'm used to this person and I'm comfortable with this person. And I don't need to go get to know somebody all over again. And maybe I should just stay put. You can't take that kind of advice either because you don't want to end up with somebody that you're not meant to be with. And I'm not saying that all your married friends are that way, but I'm definitely saying some of them are because I've had conversations like that too. And then I've had conversations on the flip side with married friends that are like, I don't understand. I don't know what you're doing. This doesn't make sense. So just don't apply somebody else's idea of a perfect relationship to yours. Take what makes sense and then also take advice from somebody who's in the shoes you want to be in. If you want to be single, take advice from your single friends. If you want to be in a relationship, take advice from your friends in relationships. If you're dating for marriage, it's probably a good idea to talk to your friends who are married that are going to say, this is a really good idea. This is a good person. This is a good fit. Or I would watch out for this. Maybe don't go there. Take the advice that actually makes sense for where you want to go. And I just want to bring this up again because I think it's very common. If you've ever looked back on advice that you've gotten from a friend or taken from a friend, and then later on realize, that actually had nothing to do with me or my relationship. He or she was copying and pasting issues that they had unresolved from another relationship, and they're projecting their trauma onto me and trying to diagnose my relationship with the same problem, because it's common and it's natural as humans to do that because it's a trauma response, right? And no, I hope none of our friends want us to go through the same shit that we've gone through. So we're like, avoid, 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 don't do that, alert, red flags. It's a party in the worst kind of way, but also realizing that situation earlier on and not being too hasty with the decisions that you make. Make sure that they actually apply to your situation. And for sure, don't take dating or relationship advice with the friend, sorry to call you out, but the friend who has had 7 toxic relationships in a row. None of them work out. It's everybody's fault but their own. And it's just constant problems. Probably not the best person to take advice from. Not because you don't love them and not because they're not fabulous, but they are a common denominator in that sense. And we love them. You guys know the friends that I'm talking about. But if that's not what you want and that's not what your goals are, don't take that kind of advice. Because we all have the friend whose every solution to any single problem when they're in a relationship is dump him. Dump him, dump him, dump him. This, that, the next thing. It could be huge. It could be itty bitty. It's always dump him. That can't always be the solution to the problem, because at that rate, you're going to be going through relationships like you go through underwear. If you even wear underwear, I don't know. Regardless, just keep in mind, wisdom isn't determined by your relationship status. Take advice that makes sense to you. Some married people are actually miserable. Some of us might know those miserable married couples. It is a reality of life. And some single people are incredibly emotionally healthy. They just choose to be single because that's what they want for them. Their goal isn't a relationship right now. So just focus on the results. Look at the results, not at the titles. So let's evaluate if our friends are in fact elevating our standards or if they are destroying them. There's a massive difference between healthy standards and outsourced opinions. There's comparison culture. There's the social media inflation of relationships. There's the massive group of people that all think they're just settling because it's easier. And really, it's just a friendship gap between the different life stages that all of us are in. Because you guys know that I'm not a fan of this imaginary timeline that society puts on us. When you're seeing it in real life and you see that all your friends have different things going on, it's because everybody's on a different timeline. Own your timeline. It's okay to want something different. It's okay to be in a different stage of your life. It's okay to change your mind and be like, you know what? I thought that this was the stage I'm in. Maybe I'm not in this stage. Maybe I'm in that stage. I don't know. Just be cool with you. But understanding the gap between friendships does not have to affect your friendships in a negative way or your partnerships in a negative way. It's just accepting the fact that everybody's in a little bit of a different phase, and we can take the right advice that we need in order to go in whatever phase of life we want to enter into. Because I do think that social media and certain friend groups have created unrealistic expectations in intimate relationships. And I don't think that it's intentional. I think it's completely by mistake. But we're constantly comparing, and we all, when you're with your friends, for instance, you guys are your friends for a reason. So you probably have a lot of similarities. And maybe you think that because it's what your friends want, or it's because it's what your friends already have, that's what you want, or that's what you think you need too, which is normal. But you can be best friends and want totally different relationships, or be totally interested in different people for ass backwards, completely different reasons. But at the end of the day, it's just your group of friends. It's like they have their own interpersonal relationships. It's just social media. What you're following is what's going to continue to be fed to you. So you don't want it to over influence your view of your relationship or the relationship that you want. For instance, my best friend's boyfriend does this, ... whatever the hell it is that he does. That's one of the most dangerous things that you could ever say. And take it from me, I've actually said that in relationships where I'm like, yeah, my friend's man does this for her. Can you believe that? Like, you would never do that for me. That's horrible. That's like, if you just want to make the person that you're with feel like shit, go ahead and say some dumb shit like that. Could you imagine if you were on the flip side and your partner said something like that to you? You'd be like, well, what the hell? Like, damn, like, way to hurt my feelings. But it's really just the art of comparison, which you guys know that I don't like across the board. I'm just not a fan of it because every person is different. Every relationship is different. Don't compare your relationship to your friend's relationship or even somebody that you're related to. Like you're like, oh, they've been married for 50 years and they have this, and that. And like you can want those things, but don't look at your relationship of 6 months or 2 years and try to compete with that. What are you doing? What do you even like? Hold on a second. What? Don't compare your relationship to another relationship because you're essentially trying to compete with it subconsciously and you don't even know that. But that is a recipe for disaster. You have to learn how to maintain individuality within yourself and your partnership, even when everybody else is sharing opinions about their own relationships or sharing opinions and advice on your relationship. You have to be able to stand strong in your two shoes and say, hey, like this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is my relationship. Thank you for the advice. I'm going to take that, or I'm going to wipe my ass with that. That's terrible advice. Like whatever it is, you have to maintain your individuality because it's your relationship to nurture and support and take care of. None of your friends have to sleep next to your boyfriend every night. None of your friends have to go home with you every night or him every night. None of your friends have to walk and work and communicate in the relationship that you are building. So just don't let their thoughts or their opinions over influence you in a negative way when you're actually happy. Now, if it's on the flip side and you're like, dude, I'm miserable, all your friends should say, leave his ass. You're not even happy anyways. What are you hanging on for? Just keep it moving. You're gorgeous. You're a badass. You're amazing. We love you. We're here for you. Meet somebody new. You deserve the best. And those are the times that you should absolutely listen to your friends, especially when you're in a toxic relationship, because we all know when we have a toxic partner and we're just sticking around because we have like a Stockholm syndrome with this person, which is so unhealthy. But those are the times to listen to your friends. When your friends, actually the best times to listen to your friends is when you're not asking for them for advice and you don't want to share anything and you kind of fall off the face of the earth and your friends come to you and say, hey, listen, girl, we love you. We're really concerned. This is what we see. This is what we feel. We don't like this for you. This seems very unhealthy and toxic, and we don't want you to feel like you have to stay in this relationship. Those are the best times to listen to your friends. Or if you're dating a shady motherfucker and they're like, listen, I heard this and I heard that and da-da-da-da, because your friends are probably talking about it before they're talking to you about it because they're like, how do we approach this? How do we say this to her? How do we give this advice without coming off like we're trying to destroy her relationship, but we heard that he did this, or he's talking to this person, or he was seen there with that person. Like when it's that level, also listen to your friends. If you're in a situation where you're being abused, where you're being cheated on, where you're being treated so poorly that you're now a miserable version of yourself and you don't even see anyone anymore, those are all times to cut that relationship cord. Like it should not be that way. But when your friends are coming to you to give unsolicited advice when you didn't even ask for it because they have real concrete evidence or feelings or proof, whatever it is that they're bringing to the table, listen to them. Your friends want what's best for you. Don't stay with that guy. If I had a freaking dollar for every time a woman has told me, what would you like if you could go back in time and tell yourself something not to do? It's almost a guy every single time. Like, don't date this guy. Don't date that guy. I've had that own answer myself before. So we've all had those relationships. Don't feel like you're the only one. Just keep it freaking moving. And if you like your best friend or just a close friend or whatever, if your friend disagrees with your relationship, just talk to them about it too. Like, why do you disagree with my relationship? Like, what is whatever. And maybe you're just not meant to be friends with that person anymore because you're like, I don't see why you have all these opinions about my personal relationship and I don't agree with you. So maybe that's just a friendship cut. Or maybe you didn't see other things and you're like, maybe this person isn't right for me. And maybe I am changing as a person and not in a positive way. And like, this is going way too far south and I need to remember who the fuck I am. So it can be a little bit of both. But I think just pay attention to both sides because ultimately your happiness is the most important thing. You have to live with you every day. You have to wake up with you every day. You have to put your shit on and put yourself together and move forward in life. So you being happy with your friendships and in your partnership is the most important thing. Your happiness is number one, and it always should be. All in all, your relationship should not be a democracy. Not a democracy with your friends anyways, but your friends are 1000% there to provide you with perspective in all areas of life, but especially in a partnership. As long as they're not constantly casting votes, everything should be fine. And on the flip side, some of the most healthy relationships in the world are influenced by your friends, but they're not governed by your friends. It's a very big difference. We only have time for one feral confession today, so I'm going to try to make it fast for you guys, but it's a good one, so I want to get them in there for you. Here we go. Hi, Savannah. Wow, Savannah. I feel so official. Usually you guys call me Sav, but I like it. Thank you. Hi. I'm 32 and single. My married friends constantly tell me my standards are too high and that I need to be more realistic. Okay. The problem is I actually like my life. I'm happy, have a career I love, and I don't feel desperate to get married. Sometimes I leave brunch feeling like I'm broken, but I'm not on the same timeline as everyone else. How do I know if my standards are healthy or if I'm actually being unrealistic? Well, I don't know what your standards are. So in my mind, I'm thinking if you're being super picky, I think that's unrealistic. That's when you're like, oh my gosh, well, his haircut is this, or his hands are too small, or his big toe is longer than his second toe. I don't fucking know. I don't know what your things are, but I would like to say they're not any of those things because those things are not a big deal. But from what I'm ultimately hearing is that you're happy being single. You're not in a rush to be married. So I think that knowing that and having the self-awareness to say, hey, that's not even something that I want right now. I'm really good with me and I love myself and my career and I'm happy and I do whatever the fuck I want, whenever the fuck I want to do it, then that's what you should be doing. Don't worry that all your friends are married. If it doesn't bother you, it shouldn't bother them. In fact, it's a little bit concerning that they're trying to push you into a committed, long-term, forever kind of relationship if it's not what you want. And I'm not saying that to shit on your friends. Still go to brunch with your friends and everything. Just say what you said to me. I'm happy with my life. I love my career. I love my freedom and I'm happy doing what I'm doing. I don't think that you're unrealistic. Maybe if you're dating and you're just like picking everything, one little thing could be wrong with someone that might actually be perfect for you, then I can see why that would be an issue and maybe that's what your friends mean. But ultimately, I think that your standards sound very healthy. You're just happy with you right now. And FYI to everyone that's listening, including you, you will never, ever be happy with someone else until you're happy with yourself. So I think it's extremely healthy to focus on that. And when you least expect it, the perfect person is probably going to stroll right in and sweep you off your feet, and you'll be at a place with yourself to actually commit and be ready for that person and be ready for that relationship and essentially marry that person because you're so good with you and they're so good with them, and then it will just work. So I don't think you have anything to worry about. Just tell your friends to chill. You're not ready for the marriage thing right now, and that's totally okay. All right, my feral friends. Well, I had so much fun with you today, and I hope you enjoyed today's topic. You guys know what to do. If you don't follow the show already, follow it, Feral the Podcast, across all platforms. If you want to follow me personally, you can follow me at Savana_Montana. I think they might be unbanning my TikTok account. So that'll be fun if that actually happens. They emailed me back. No big deal. I don't want to get too excited, but hey, you never know. In the meantime, stay feral, follow, like, subscribe, all the things. Submit your questions and your feral confessions at SavannahMontana.com. And I will see you guys on the next Feral Friday. Mwah! Okay, love you, bye. Let me tell you who the fuck I think I am. You got a minute? Wow.